Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going through an old box of photos that was in the attic of a house I recently purchased. The photos are from what appears to be an engagement or bridal shower party, but it's not the photos that are interesting. It's what is inside of this box with the photos that really shocked me. I saw the box up in the attic and thought it would be fun to go through some old pictures, maybe even post some of them on social media. What I didn't expect to find was over $800 worth of unreleased film. That's right. There is something about the way our current digital world operates where we don't see things like film cameras, film photos, and certainly not boxes of film. We live in a world where everything is digital, but I wasn't expecting this. This is a very old camera, so I'm not sure how well it's actually going to turn out. And because I haven't developed film in over 25 years, I am also rusty on how to properly load film into this camera. The good news is that these cameras are pretty simple, and thankfully there are lots of resources available online. So let's try to get this camera loaded with film. The first thing I need to do is figure out what kind of film was actually in the camera when they last used it. If I can do that, I may have a better chance at getting the proper film to make developing the film easier. This is a codec box that has a little tab here where you pull it, and then the numbers and letters are revealed. So I think that is exactly what I need to pull to figure out what kind of film this is. Okay, C47. So according to this, the film is Kodachrome 64, and if you look down here, it says slide film. So this is going to be a transparency film, meaning that when you develop the film, you actually end up with slides. This is great information to have, but now I need to find that same film so I can put it into this old camera. Now I'm on the hunt for film, which is actually much more difficult than I thought it would be. If you're not aware, there are three main types of film: slide film, negative film, and instant film. Slide film is what we call transparency film. When it's developed, the negatives are clear and you can see through them. They typically come in cartridges like this, and you would load them into a slide projector to show the image. Negative film is the most common type of film, and it's what is used in traditional film photography. When it's developed, you end up with negative images, and they have to be printed onto photographic paper to make positive images. Instant film doesn't require any processing. You take the picture and the image develops right in front of your eyes. And finally, there are two main film formats: 35mm and 120. 35mm is by far the most popular format, and it is what most people think of when they think of film photography. It's also what this camera uses. 120 film is larger, and it's often used in medium format cameras. After scouring the internet, I found that you can still purchase Kodachrome film, but it's not cheap. A pack of 100 exposures costs $150. Since I wasn't sure how much film was actually in the box, I decided to just pick up a few rolls. But just so you know, the price of film has come a long way since 2000. One other thing I learned is that you actually need a special processor to develop Kodachrome film. Regular Photoshops don't carry this film anymore, and they definitely don't have the special chemicals needed to process it. Thankfully, there is a place near me that still sells film, and they also told me they could develop it for me. It's now time to see what's inside the box. I have no idea what to expect, but I'm excited to find out. I should also note that the outside of this box has the name Diana written on it. I did some research and found that this is likely a reference to the owner of the home. In fact, I found a year 2000 newspaper article where her daughter was getting married. The wedding was in June, and it was mentioned that a bridal shower was held at the home. This is almost certainly the box of photos and film from that shower. Opening the box, I immediately saw the photos and also a white envelope. The photos were all organized and placed inside of plastic sleeves. The envelope contained some kind of receipt for the cost of developing the film. It looks like 36 exposures cost $9.45, which is extremely reasonable. I remember paying less than $10 to get 36 photos developed when I was younger. The prices have certainly gone up since then, but I still think they're a bargain compared to today's standards. After taking out the photos, I saw a black container which had more film inside of it. I pulled out the films and was surprised to see that there were 4 full rolls of film and a partial roll. I was also surprised to see that one of the films had the name Fuji written on it. I believe this is an instance of Fujifilm being used as a backup to Kodachrome. Fuji is another major manufacturer of film, and they produce their own transparency film. I checked the expiration dates and none of the film is expired yet. It looks like the last roll was purchased in August of 1999. Now it's time to go through the photos. These photos are from what appears to be a bridal shower for Diana's daughter. All of the photos are of the food and drinks served at the event. There are photos of the cake and several different table settings. I'm not sure why they took so many photos of the food, but I guess they wanted to remember what was served at the event. Some of the photos are actually nice, and I can imagine someone wanting to remember this special day by looking through the photos. One of the things I found interesting is that all of the food and drink items were clearly labeled. This makes sense when you're serving a large group of people. Not everyone will know what everything is, so it helps to have labels. But it also helps us today. Thanks to the labels, we know exactly what was served 23 years ago. As I looked through the rest of the photos, I noticed something strange. Some of the photos were clearly marked with a red marker. This didn't make sense to me. Why would they mark certain photos? Well, I turned the photo sleeve over and found a key. It turns out that the photos were color-coded based on the recipe book they were in. Red meant the recipe was in the blue book, and green meant the recipe was in the yellow book. I found this to be a very interesting system, but I am curious to know why they did and just write the recipe names directly onto the photos. With the photos done, it's now time to focus on the film. I've been taking photos with this camera since yesterday and having a blast. It's amazing to see the photos right away, and it also helps me remember special moments forever. As I was loading the film, I realized it wasn't going to be as easy as I thought. This is an old camera, and it's a bit tricky to get everything lined up correctly. Thankfully, I was able to get the film loaded without any issues. I then wound the film and got ready to take my first picture. The film was dated 1998, so it's 25 years old. The camera is set to use it until 2005. While I was shooting film in high school, I had a lot of problems with my cameras. Sometimes the film wouldn't advance, sometimes the shutter wouldn't fire, and sometimes the film wouldn't even load. But thankfully, this camera was easy to use. I took a few photos around the house and even managed to snap a selfie. When I went to advance the film after taking the selfie, I realized I had made a mistake. I forgot to advance the film after taking the first picture. This resulted in me wasting the first exposure. I took the film out of the camera and examined the damage. My heart sank when I realized there was no saving the first frame. I'm not sure what I'll do with the rest of the film. I only bought a few rolls of film, so I may just shoot them and develop them. Then I'll decide what to do with them. One of the things I've noticed while shooting film is that you tend to take fewer photos. You carefully consider each shot and make sure it is exactly how you want it before clicking the shutter. With digital photography, you simply take more pictures. You click the shutter multiple times because you never know which one will turn out. Film makes you take your time and be more intentional with your shots. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I always appreciate when you do. Also, let me know what you think in the comments. What do you think I should do with the film? Should I try to salvage the first frame? Also, did you ever shoot film? How do you feel about it compared to digital photography? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd also like to say thank you to my awesome supporters. Thanks so much for supporting my videos. If you are interested in supporting, please check out the links in the description. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.